hobbyists. Today we are going to look at part 2 of the dinosaur build. If you missed part 1, I'm going to try and put something in the corner that you can click on that'll take you there. Obviously, if I can't figure it out, you might have to use your imagination, and I really hope that you're able to find it through some other method. Now we're going to try gluing on these, well, what I was referring this to spines or spikes, but I have been told that they could be called plates. I'm not too sure. Dinosaur flappy bits that, well, maybe we won't go there. Anyway, I'm using some Gorilla Super Glue Micro Precise. This is the one which comes in the bottle. It's got two kind of triggers either side of the glue. When you press the triggers in, the glue starts coming out. As you can see here, it's quite nice. It's got really long nibs, so you can really get to where you need to add that glue. The way I was doing it, as you can see, where I'm going to put this so-called plate, there isn't a hole, just a bit of a recess. So I put a bit of glue on the actual plate itself, and yeah, basically just try to get that added onto the tail as such. Now this should, and I say should, set in 10 seconds. So it does help if you have a steady hand and nerves of steel. And yeah, after a few seconds, it's kind of tacky enough to be held from its own accord. As you can see here, a little wobble, but yeah, it will hold in place and it'll do what we need it to do. Now, the next one that we're going to put in has a little tag on it, so it can fit quite nicely into the little keyhole slot that's there. One thing that did strike me as curious with this model, I'm not too sure why these little recesses are not available for all the plates to go in, and why it's only some of the larger ones. That being said as well, the actual instructions don't give you a idea on which way round they should go. Now, I did cut them off in order and not just all together, but still it wasn't overly clear on the instructions, so maybe that's one thing to bear in mind, as it would certainly stop all this faffing around. Once you do figure out which way round this plate is supposed to go in, it's quite a good thing to keep it angled in there, so you can then move on to start sticking in some of the other plates. So all we're going to do now is basically add the plates all the way around. Put a bit of glue on one side of this. It's almost like a key and a lock. So put the glue on one side, little dab on the other. As I say, this is the Gorilla Glue that we're using here. Because it's got this little tab on it, it makes it so much easier just to drop this one in place and then keep on moving. To save everyone's patience, what I've done here is I've started speeding up the footage, mainly just so that this doesn't go on for hours on end and become a true epic in fashion of Ben-Hur. But I suppose there's only so much you can see somebody glue something the wrong way round multiple times. All we're doing is we're adding all these different plates to all the recesses now, until we've got them all in place. In fairness, the Gorilla Glue was good. The larger pieces did take a little bit longer for the glue to set firmly before I could let go. The smaller pieces tended to take quite quickly. I remember back in the day when I used to collect lead figures and you try super gluing those together, and it became a nightmare, and banner bearers used to have their hands drop off at a moment's notice. But yeah, you know, as you can see from here, all the plates are attached. See how long that lasts. They all kind of fit in. I wish I'd have figured out which the up and down was to maybe get some consistency, and as you can see there's one there on the right hand side that's just a little bit kind of suspect, but you know, let's just say that maybe he had a fight with some sort of larger dinosaur and that grows a bit weird. But anyway, it looks good, and I think it's now time to start the idea of undercoating it. As mentioned in previous videos, I don't have a spray booth, never really had the need for one, so all I do is I go out in the garden, so none of the chemicals get too much. What I'm using here is a Tamiya fine primer, and as you can't see, it's in light grey, spraying over light grey. The main reason why I am actually priming it is because I'm going to be handing it over to my son to paint. We are using just normal kids paints. I think the poster paints come in massive bottles and squirt out, and as I have no idea how it will react with this plastic, giving it something to actually bond into would be a good idea. And I also had some of the surface primer left over from the Tamiya lunchbox that I've done on previous video. If I figured out that thing where you can put something in the corner to click, I might put that here, but if I haven't figured it out, again, possibly just use your imagination. Anyway, now that's done, over to the paint team. Oh dear. So we all make mistakes, and this was mine. I hit it with Tamiya Flat Clear TS80, and this happened. So looking here, it's had some sort of chemical reaction with the poster paint. This was probably why I had so much left over after the lunchbox, because I was hesitant to do it over the decals. It's given it kind of a freezer burn effect, but for a dinosaur I suppose that looks not too bad. I did hope it would have a nice soft sheen. Unfortunately this is what we're left with, but I guess it looks dinosaur-y. After a little bit of cleaning up, here we are, the completed model. One of the better Stegosauruses that I've made. As you can see, the colours are really starting to shine, and it looks quite fetching. Okay, I admit it, I've done the switcheroony. This is not the model. This is our model. I'm not sure if Richard Attenborough would have still received a knighthood if he'd have starred in films with the quality of this dinosaur. But in all fairness, I don't think it's turned out too bad. One side does seem to be distinctly a different colour than the other. So it could look like two. One going one way and one going the other way. I enjoyed the build. The glue, I did have to glue one piece in, but it's not the end of the world. Here it is with the T-Rex model, and yeah, I'm happy with this little project. If you would like to see more videos like this, please do like and subscribe. I'm going to try and put some things here to show other videos. If you don't see anything here to show other videos, I couldn't figure it out. But yeah, just use your imagination.